All right. So, welcome everyone to this new episode of Women's Empowerment Series. These are series that we organize, inviting amazing female leaders from around the world. And I'm honored today to have with me Claudia Gomes from Bangkok, connecting with us. She will tell us more about your background, but Claudia is a woman of the word. She's from Brazil, from Portugal, and lives in Bangkok. So this is the new way of being a female global leader. Welcome, Claudia. Such an honor to have you this morning.
Thank you so much, Hynd. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's amazing. I really believe that we believe in the same things, like
We do.
women
Yeah.
empowered, entrepreneurs and taking care now of their careers and really growing as empowering, like you always say.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have this message all around. And then, yeah, it's what you're saying. It's like I'm from Brazil. I left Brazil. I lived in Spain as well for 3.5 years. And I'm in Bangkok for 14 years now.
Wow,
So,
amazing. We're going to go back to all this because I would love for you to share your story. If you just connect in with us for the first time, let us know that this is your first time watching Wes. If you've been watching us, and this is episode 47, actually. So let us know. We'd like to greet you and to know where you're connecting from. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments for me, for Claudia, and we will be delighted to answer. So today, let's talk about you. What will bring a young woman from Brazil all the way to Bangkok and to be so full successful in leadership and in helping others become leaders? How did it start, Claudia? Take us back.
wow. Well, I have to say everything. I'm living these three continents now. I think my career really has parts now in a way. So I started studying business administration in Brazil, and that's what I decided to follow now when I was in the area. I left Brazil. I was a business administrator. Now I was a manager now for the administrative area. When I got to Europe, I decided I didn't want to work on that anymore. I want to work in the travel industry. So I moved to the travel industry in Spain. So I start from scratch, zero zero there, because I haven't done that in Brazil at all. And that brought me to two new companies in Spain that get me from working from the administrative sides plus sales side, and I started doing for sales as well in Spain. And then I met a partner in Spain, got a job in Thailand. I think that happens to many people. Now that we got our partners get a job, now in a different country, and that made me move to Thailand. Now I was quite
So you
happy.
moved to Thailand to stay with your partner as he
Yes,
had a job.
yes,
That's a lot of courage to do that. That's
exactly.
nice.
It
Yeah,
was a big
amazing.
change, a big change. And then I left Brazil really thinking that I was going to live in Europe. I decided to move to Barcelona at the time. So
Mhm.
it was a very big change. It was a big change, but I understand that it's still kind of the same culture. We're still Latins now, as we say. So it's not big movements. Let's go for that. But of course,
But
leaving
the
my house.
language is different, though. I mean, you had to speak Spanish, right, to be able to move to Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that I think the first beginning at the beginning for me was to learn the language, and that was to just go to Spain and study and learn the language. But in the end, I love the country. Now I'm Portuguese, as you said, so I decided to say, well, you know what, I'm gonna stay here. I really love the country. I want to stay. And then
Yes.
what happens? I met my ex-partner, and in the end, he got this job, and things now would move along. Nah? So when
Uh-huh.
I come to Thailand, because he got this job in Thailand, for me was quite unique. Never crossed my mind at all to come to live in
Wow.
Asia or Thailand, because being Brazilian is quite exotic. And I think living in Thailand,
It is.
that's
It's the other side completely, right? Yeah.
completely. It's not a
How
country.
incredible, because you don't know how life surprise you. I mean, you can plan, and then there is another plan for you. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that. It's exactly the description for me. I never imagined was the best thing ever that happened to me. And arrived in Thailand. Now I continue on the travel business career. Then
Okay.
I got a executive role, like a business development director for Spain, Portugal, Latin America markets, and so global role. And stayed there for about 6 7 years. And then later, I think I was already in the path of changing. Now I think I see myself transitioning, And I decided to go for the coaching because it was something that I always loved it. And psychology was
Mm.
something that I always loved since I was quite young. It's not really exactly the same, but it's still kind of in the area. And I decided to say, you know what, I want to do that. So I want to try this and
When
see
did
how
you
it goes.
decide that? Like how long ago?
Now I'm 7 years in
Okay,
coaching.
so that's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a while now. Yeah, it
Mm.
was a big change again because was again I start over from scratch. So it was a big decision one more time. I was 12 years in the career, established already.
Yes.
So go over and say, you know what, I love this. I want to
How
go for that.
interesting, Claudia, because I think that every woman does that. We all do that. And probably, I mean, like having, when you reach a point and then you kind of starting again, you like, okay, this is not what I wanted. Let me really start something else. Let me find something else. And it's like, it becomes like a pattern that we repeat over and over.
Yeah, it's true. I'm with you on that one. I think there's something in us, that knows that we need a change. It's like, I'm okay, I'm happy, but I still need that change. I know it's good for me. I want to try it. And that at all. It's like I think I did all the changes. It was never easy. I know it was. I hope you understand what I mean. I believe people who changes understand that changes always brings um, some adjustments, some knowledge, some new things to learn and new things to apply
Of
to your
course.
life.
Yeah.
But no regrets in any level. And it was
Never.
always an amazing path.
And
Yeah, it's
and
always
that's
it's always
probably
amazing to start it for yourself.
no, this is really good because that's probably one of the recipes of success is to be able to change. Because as soon as you find yourself in a comfortable zone, when you're like comfort because it's habitual, because you do the same thing, because you don't even push yourself anymore, you're just like stagnating. That's kind of a sign to tell you, like, you know what, just go do something else now. Go grow
It's
somewhere else. Yeah.
true. I think I have kind of a bug in me. I think there is a bug that always
Yes.
a
How long,
bug that
okay, so let's see if it's true, because how long does your pattern last? How long usually?
the one,
When you
sorry.
how long do you stay in the same activity, the same focus before you decide to change?
To be like I said to you, I worked along the way in my career in 13 companies, 13 different companies, since from working in the garage to a multinational global company. So of course I did in different stages, in different kind of experiences I had. So I'm very grateful and very very grateful for that, because now working with leaders, so the difficulties they can have in so many different forms of work, like in so
Yeah.
many different areas of work. And that for that I'm so grateful. But the longest one I stayed, I have to tell, was 6 years. Is the one that I told you here that I stayed in Thailand, was 6 years in the row. And to develop the market, and to develop the system for the teams and everything. So yes, that was 6 years, and now 7 in coaching. So it's like the longest ones for me.
Wow. And how would you love particularly in this coaching business? Who do you target? Do you coach women, men? What level?
I coach both. Like I coach men and women. I coach leaders. Now in that case,
Mhm.
but my path from the lead from the coaching came exactly for this situation that I always felt when I was in working for companies.
Mhm.
That not just being a leader, but working for leaders. Now I see so much of the difficulties from the communication for connecting with the team, for really make the team become a team. Now,
Yeah,
in a way, the collaboration to really happen to the people who are there every day together.
that's
Nah,
true.
so how much fear is that on the how I say it, not say it, is what they're gonna think or not think, what can I do, not do, the conflict that comes from sometimes just a small conversation could really just solve that, but it still happens now that we have some difficulty sometimes. And I have to tell, for me as a leader, was a journey for myself as well. I have to say I grew as a leader. Now in
I'm
a
sure.
way I always consider myself natural leader because I like the position. I don't mind in taking charge. That's put that way. I always, it's something that I was kind of comfortable with. But I don't have the tools. I have to say the tools came along the way for me. Now that I know them, I say, oh my God, was my life would be very much would be different if I knew that before. Nanny. So I want to help people to really get that, to get to these tools and to really take the shortcut now
I
for
like
their
that.
careers, because I had to learn this in 23 years. Why I cannot give just some shortcuts, so people can just connect with that and really use that in a daily basis, and really just can do much faster than I did, and maybe improve 3 times more than I ever did. So of
So,
course, why not?
so if you were to share like one powerful point that helps leaders feel be better, embody their leadership status in a fulfilled way, what would that be?
I think for me, more than anything, is then when the leader really starts, um, how can I put it this in a mild way, is the ego part. I think there is an ego in the leaders. Nah, that we because it's
There's an ego in everyone, not just the leader, everybody.
I
Mm,
will put that one in case.
yeah,
So when you become the leader, when you are dealing with people, sometimes there is an ego thing, and I don't think in a bad way. To be honest, I think ego is a friend, as any other part of
I
us
like
in any
that.
level.
The ego is a friend.
So
That's true.
it's a
Yeah.
friend, it's leader friend. So it's how to deal with this friend. Now I think that's the point. So
How
because
to
sometimes
say that again? How to?
how to
We didn't.
deal how to deal
How
with the
to
friend,
deal with the friend?
our friend, and with our ego friend. Now how
Yes.
to our ways to deal with this friend, because that can really change the way you communicate now with people. That can really put yourself or make you position yourself. Now you put barriers where is no needed, or create you kind of differences that is no need to be there.
That's
Now,
true.
so I think that's for me is more what I most noticed in that case is when you really know yourself, when you're more connect with yourself, when you're more aware of who you are, your strengths, you especially your weakness. Now, when you're really okay with your shadows, that we say that
Yes.
the one things that you don't want to know about yourself, but you're already there with you, and you know that. So your life becomes more an easy life becomes more easy for you to deal with anything and anyone who's around you. So I think that's for me is the point, is when the leader really get to the point of really seeing themselves as this leader, now that they
Mhm.
want to be the leader they know they can be. And we are different as leaders, that we are different people, so we have our own ways to lead. So we know what makes us a strong leader, what makes us the influential person that we are for our team. So how are we influencing our team? So we're really aware of that. So how
So
kind of a
would
role
you,
model am I?
these are really powerful points because, okay, one, you say that your ego is a friend, so you have to really be aware of how are you dealing, handling your friends? Is it the one taking over? Are you the one letting them aside? How are you handling them? And the second one is to know yourself. When you know your strength, uh, what type of leader are you? I'm not sure you hear me because I can see you frozen, Claudia. I don't know if everybody can hear us, but so the second point is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that it's just cut it a little bit. I could not hear the last words that you just said. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay because I saw you frozen on the screen. So what I was saying is that really the second one is to know your skills and know your shadow. So what do you mean by shadow? Is it the things that you don't want to think about? You don't want to acknowledge? What do you mean?
I think when we call the shadows, is that kind of a part of us. It can be anything. To be honest, is everybody sees our shadows in different ways. And so, but it's the part that we think we are. I don't know. We think we're stupid. We think we are not able. We think we are. We put names in ourselves. Now we decide that we are something. Now, and until we make peace with that, with that side. Now, when we start talking to ourselves and show to ourselves that it's not really that way. Now, maybe I'm not stupid. Maybe there are something that I don't really know. It's like I don't know everything. So I make the peace with the things that I know and things that I don't know. So I started seeing that part of me with more compassion, with more care. Now I bring that part alive, and I deal with that side and talking to that. It's kind of a being able to talk to yourself in any level. Now it's really bringing and say, I'm feeling so, like I'm not feeling that capable today. It's like, and and that comes up and that becomes you, and then you have to see that it's okay, that it is okay, that is, this is really coming up and it's fine. So what makes me feel that way? Can I do something about it? Can I be more compassionate to me, to myself, and understand that I'm going through this, but I'm going to get out of this anyway. So it's dealing with anything that is bringing us to a more negative state, to a more low energy state, or things that takes us out from our, what I call balance now, and alignment, or
Yeah, it
that's
is.
what I see the shadow as in my interpretation, when I
I,
normally
I
bring as a shadow.
I think you're right because we often let our mind wander and collecting all those negative ideas and thoughts about us that actually all what they do is they feed more doubt, they feed more anxiety, they feed more stress about the way we are in any situation. And they are shadows, and these shadows, if you're not aware of them, then they will really drag you down because they will appear in your life the moment you don't want them to appear. And often when you want to go and make a big speech, or when you want to go and work on something important, and then you have this doubt shadow that comes, and actually, they just kind of scare you a bit, make you feel like, "Oh, what if it doesn't work? What if something doesn't go the way I wanted?" And I think I like the way you say it as a shadow, but what we want is actually to replace that shadow to be by cheerleaders, by like another something invisible that will cheer you up. They'll say, you can do it, you're great, and you can really connect with that. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
have
true. It's when we think about the shadow that
I think we yeah.
shadow.
So
But
I want to ask you one last
I
question because our connection is not so good. So let's just wrap up with one last question about what do you feel, make a difference? I mean, I know all the leaders are different and all the leaders are the same. What stands out for you working with Thai organization in Bangkok and in Thailand? I'm not sure you hear me, Claudia. Mm. I think we got disconnected from Bangkok. Well, it's okay. So anyway, let me just summarize what we are talking about how to become a greater leader. Is really, one is to understand your ego is your friend, and so you need to really see how the friend who is your ego behaves. Does your friend wants to always be the one in the front, wants to always be the one taken care of, in which case you really forget the bigger vision of making an impact and caring about others, and all what you will be worried about is your own ego. And I think the way to see it as a friend is a good way, because you don't want it to be too over okay, I think Claudia had
I'm
showed up. Hi.
sorry. Are we back?
Oh, you're back. Yeah,
I
that's all
love
right.
I love live events.
It's okay. That's what I was saying. I was summarizing. We were talking about the ego, about the shadow that really brings you the doubt. And I think just to wrap up with another, to just have a third point that will put a bow on our conversation around leadership is what makes a difference. I mean, you obviously being in Bangkok, you work with leaders in the area, leaders in Thailand, and also leaders from around the world. I bet because the word has gone global. How do you see and feel that difference and in culture, in the way business is approached, and leadership for that matter as well?
uh, quite through what you're saying here. I think I've noticed much less cultural shock, like I was telling you before, regarding when I was living in Spain, for example, when I was dealing the with a team there, or leaders there, because I think for me at the time, when I look, the culture was not that far away, and I didn't see much clashes in cultural aspects. Exactly the companies that I was working for at the time, I could not see it. I see much more here in Asia, for example, is quite different, the culture. So if you come as from a Western to here, you notice there is a gap, between cultures, and you have to adjust. Now you have to come and understand how the area works that depend on the country that you're working with. So Thailand, for example, has unique traits, that unique traces for the culture. So you need to adjust. Nah, it's not always the way you want it. It's not always the way you're used to. Nah, the country, the culture has its ways to make things work. Then you have to learn how to manage and how to learn how to connect. So you are able to connect with your team, like I was saying before, because Thailand is a very collective country. Nah? It's not very individualist country, so it's a more collective state. So people are very used to work together and think about each other and really has a lot of hierarchical process, and you have to adjust. You have to understand how that works. Now, it's not about I come and I like this and we're gonna do my way. No, it's not like that. So that's why it's very important to understand how the culture works.
Yes. Okay, so I think we lost you again,
I'm
Claudia.
not. And it sounds everything is fine, but sorry, it looks everything is fine. I'm sorry for that. My internet
That's
looks
okay. But that's okay. I think what your point is very important is that, everything has gone global. Leadership is now similar all around the world. There is no cultural differences. There is no cultural shock, as you talked about it, because we have gone digital, and the digital world is smoothing the differences around the world in terms of culture, in terms of the way business is being conducted, and in terms of also networking and relationships are being created. So I think let's just wrap up. And now, if you would like to say a last word about, this leadership, the new way of being, the new way of growing as leaders. Okay.
asking regarding this cultural activity. So Bangkok is a very
Diverse.
many different diverse teams and diverse nationalities. So it's like you're saying, it's this adjustment is incredible.
Yes. So anyway, thank you so much, Claudia, for being with us today from Bangkok. I know we didn't have such a great connection, but the words were very powerful, very valuable. It's a beautiful conversation we had. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. If you have any question for Claudia or for myself, please let us drop it in the comments. Just hashtag replay, and we will be very delighted to come back and answer to that. Thank you all. WES is a women empowerment series where we invite different women leaders from around the world, sharing their story, sharing the why behind what they do every day, and also sharing some nuggets and some value for you so that you can feel that you can also grow as the greatest female leader. Thank you so much, Claudia, for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the invite.